Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV, where today we're going to be compiling our worst Arsenal team of the decade. Got Serge boy to help me with that, Jake Core, Ben, and Dan the Man Mountney. We're going to go team by position by position. Me and Leif compiled our team on the way to Sheffield United. First off, boys, the goalkeeper. Who are your suggestions?
We've had a lot of goalkeepers in Arsenal's history that are less than appealing, but I would go for Almunia.
I agree. 100% agree.
I don't.
Jake doesn't.
I think Lucas Fabianski.
You're off your nut. He's in. You're mental. He's in my team of the decade.
He's my goalkeeper of the decade.
He cost us a place in the FA Cup's final against Chelsea that time.
Yes, but then he helped
also
us
won
win
us
the
2.
FA Cup. Yeah. What are you talking about? If it hadn't been him in goal in the year we beat Hull in the final, we wouldn't have won. We wouldn't have won.
He gave loads of dodgy goals away.
He saved 2 penalties in the shootout.
Who? What was your reasons for Almunia not being in it?
Because he was genuinely awful. Well, Almunia being in it, he
Yeah,
was genuinely awful in so many ways. I've seen a lot of keepers over the years, and he is amongst the worst, if not the worst. I mean, he'd flap at crosses, he'd flap at shots, he'd flap at everything.
Yep.
Didn't command the box, wasn't good with his feet, which is basically everything you need for a goalkeeper, and he just couldn't do any of it.
I think
You can forgive a keeper for having, 1 or 2 weaknesses.
Yep.
Almunia was just a weakness. Like, please, if he has a strength, let me know, because I've been struggling to
He was
find
awful. He was awful.
Well, I think one of the things you have to look at for Fabianski, he's still managed to cut a career in the Premier League with other teams and done all right for them.
Who?
What was Almunia done?
Who?
Fabianski.
Fabianski.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that's why Almunia's
well,
worse.
Leif-
What's
Where
Almunia done?
did
Okay,
Almunia
Leif-
go after Arsenal?
He went to Watford and did well in the Championship and then retired at Cagliari because of a heart problem, which is fair enough.
Oh, wow.
But you mentioned
I didn't know that.
Fabianski. Leif has said this numerous times, so he's spoken to Paul Johnson, who used to be goalkeeper coach at Arsenal, and he says time and time again, regardless of how many keepers he's worked with, Fabianski was the best. How can you put... Jake, I don't understand how you can put him in the worst team of the
it's
decade.
just one mistake.
I don't get it.
Look at what Wojciech Szczesny said the other day. He said when he took over at Juventus, he was the better than the best goalkeeper in history. And when now Fabianski's now taking over from Wojciech Szczesny, he's now the best keeper in history and the world. So I think Fabianski, according to Wojciech Szczesny, is a good keeper.
So basically, it's Almunia. We've agreed on that.
All right. Well,
if anyone can support me, please put it in the comments.
if anybody agrees,
No
with
one
Jake,
is going to support you, Jake. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, comment below if you agree with Jake or if you have any other suggestions. But we'll move on to the right back spot. Oh, by the way, me and Leif agreed. We actually put Almunia in our team. So moving on to right back, boys.
Serge.
I'll let Dan go first of this one. I feel he's got a punchy opinion on this.
I don't know. I think he was torn on this.
Well, realistically,
there was a couple of names that I put forward. Carl Jenkinson was one, but I thought that was kind of harsh considering he's an Arsenal man.
This is true, Gooner. True.
Absolutely love that man.
Abue was another one, but he was a cult figure, and as you say, good for a laugh. He probably wasn't that bad. I don't know who I'd really put in, to be honest.
What about Bukayo Saka from yesterday?
I know exactly who I put in. From last season, Stefan Lichtsteiner.
Yeah.
He was dreadful.
Yeah.
He's never. I don't understand the signing of him. It made no sense.
Well, he was brought in for experience in the dressing room, but if you can't defend,
How old
what's
was he
the
when
point?
he came? He was like
35.
35.
35.
Yeah.
It was just pointless.
I remember him scoring in the Europa League. I can't remember who it was against.
Do you know what? I want to have a claim to fame here. I was there.
So was I, mate.
For Stefan Lichtsteiner's only goal and Julio Peguezuelo's only Arsenal appearance. I feel like I've lived the dream.
Who was that against? Was that
Against Blackpool.
Was it? Okay,
Blackpool
it was
in the League Cup.
Yeah.
Blackpool in the League
the
Cup.
dream titled game.
dream.
Oh,
I've lived the dream.
That's what we want.
So what do you think? I mean, Jenkinson?
I can't vote Jenkinson as the worst because
To be fair, he's flopped in Nottingham Forest.
well,
as
he didn't have the opportunity. I think he was in that FA Cup final I saw him against Hull. He was, in and amongst the players, loving the game, loving the team, loving everything about it. And, he was a bit part player, unfortunately. But I don't think any part he played was particularly dreadful. I think he was just unfortunate that he just wasn't up to the mustard. But I don't think he did any clangers comparative to some of the other players that we're going to mention later on the list.
Yeah, that's true. Do you have a...
Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Jake, you're having a stinker. You're having a nightmare,
I mean,
kid.
he's not. I mean,
right,
as you said,
he's not a right back.
He's not a right back.
He's a right
But
midfielder.
he's still better than Lichtsteiner.
Do you think?
I'll give you that. I'm just putting names out there.
Yeah. He's not great, is he? And obviously, Maitland-Niles was sent off in that Villa game, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's not had a great time at right back. But,
Well, he shouldn't be a
He's
right.
still
he
better
shouldn't
than
be a right back.
Lichtsteiner.
But again, me and Leif, who isn't here tonight, actually, he's shot off to some awards. We're doing our Christmas special.
He's 0014.
Serge has got a little little top.
Oh, he's twice the man James Bond is.
He's the next Daniel Craig.
He's XL James Bond.
As you'll see in our Christmas podcast, he had to shoot off in the middle, but Serge has got a tie on. Jake's got a lovely jacket on. I've got my Christmas jumper.
And Ben's
These-
wearing nothing Christmassy.
These boys didn't get the memo.
It's tinsel.
It's not tinsel,
It's
though, is it?
tinsel.
It's not. It's just.
If that's
absolutely
tinsel,
not
then
tinsel.
Stefan Lechtsteiner was a right back.
Brilliant.
and I'm
Excellent
going in the
segue.
team at right back.
And now we're gonna go to the
Toby,
centre-backs.
who did you pick at right
Yeah,
back?
me and Leif went for Lichtsteiner actually.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't think you can really argue with that.
Yep.
So we'll go for the two centre backs at once. Actually, what are your picks for?
David Luiz
I agree. I agree.
He's-
I agree.
or Socrates. Both of them
No,
current players,
I
both
wouldn't go
shocking.
Socrates, but I'd go David Luiz and I'd go Sebastian Squillaci without a shadow of a doubt.
Luis and
yeah.
Squillaci, would you?
I'd definitely go Squillaci. He's one of the worst defenders I've ever seen. Luiz, you might leave him out because of the short length of time he's been there, but he is just as dreadful. So
Squillaci
do you know
wa-
what?
Squillaci was
I'm going to
a-
plump with those two, Luiz and
Wow.
Sebastian
Well,
Squillaci.
Squillaci
Be
was so
cool.
bad. He was in that team that we lost the League Cup final to Birmingham in one of the worst games I've ever had to suffer through. It was
And
shocking.
you've been watching this season.
What was your pick?
I have to say Squillaci and Luis.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez.
I have to agree with Dan for once.
That's
What
a rare
about,
thing.
Jake, it's about time.
You got
I mean, for me, Johan Giroud has to be in there.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
He
Johan
wasn't awful,
Giroud.
but he had
He's definitely an
potential,
honourable
and it's
mention.
almost worse. If you're a bad player, you're a bad player.
Interestingly, he hasn't even made our bench in
Do you know
me and
what?
Leif's team.
With
so-
Giroud,
But
I
if
don't
you-
know if you remember this, but he had a 6-month spell where he was absolutely world class.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. He
Was
a
that
point
was
where
that
he
was that the
brilliant.
the pre-season
So
window?
It's almost worse if you have potential and don't reach it than if you're just a bad player.
One minute, we're going to get slack if we don't mention one name for debate. Mustafi. Arsenal fans would.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah. I
I'd
think
also
fair.
like to chuck another name in, purely because he only played a few games, but he was dreadful. Mikhail Silvestre.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
Well,
he was
yeah.
dreadful.
Can
Well-
we play 5 centre backs in this team, or are we?
The thing is, though, I kind of liked Mustafi to begin with. I don't like him as a player now, but when he first started, I liked him as a
Yeah.
player.
No,
It's
I
just
mean,
like,
I mean,
I
why
thought he was
if-
quite good.
It's almost worse if you have potential and don't reach it.
Yeah.
Mustafi's been
It's-
bad,
Than if you're just
but
a
there's
bad
been
player.
worse.
I wouldn't say he's the
There's been
worst. He's just, you know when you do something bad and your parents, they're not angry with you, they're disappointed.
disappointed.
You've got to
It's
think-
It was the
worse,
sheer
isn't it?
disappointment.
You've
It was
got to
just
think with
upsetting.
Mustafi as well, as bad as he's been, he did go that spell when he first joined of like
Not conceding
18, 19 games unbeaten, and we thought
We've got
Tony
the real
Adams
deal
is
here.
back. We've got
Yeah.
the German Tony Adams. He just wasn't, was he?
Although also another positive for Mustafi, he's great in the changing room. People really like him. He
his
creates a
dancing's
lot of
pretty
fun.
good.
He's a
He's a
laugh.
laugh, and
He's a
he
good dancer.
you know, he was really good friends with Aubameyang, Iwobi, etc. So he created a lot
what do you
of
mean
atmosphere.
is? Have they just left it?
Well, no, because Iwobi's gone. So, but I'm saying, you know,
Aubameyang just
Good.
ditched him. Who
So,
did you pick, Toby?
Yeah, so me and Leif went for Squillaci and Silvestre.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
Oh my, that's the
but
stuff
to
of
be
nightmares.
Fair, to be fair, that was before Louise's
Although-
horror run.
would they be better? Would they perform better
I'm not
now?
a Premier League centre forward, but I'm licking my lips at the sight of that.
Yeah.
I'd still pick those two. They're both dreadful.
They're conceding to Benteke. They're
Yeah,
comfortably
yeah.
conceding
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Benteke.
Nothing more needs to be said.
So we'll go on, move on to the left back.
Andre Santos. I'm not even. There's not even any other names up for
Moving on.
debate. It's
Is-
Andre
is-
Santos.
is there a debate?
I think that's
It's
100%
Andre Santos.
confirmed.
I've got this way he should be. Swapping at United, and he was just dreadful at left. Get crosses, everything in general. Worst footballer that we ever signed.
There's no point in even discussing it. It's Andre Santos. There is no debate. It is.
Yeah.
He might be the worst Brazilian to ever put on a football shirt.
Is that possible?
Oh.
You know,
gonna
when
lie.
you look at Brazilians and think you're going to be able to attack well. He couldn't even do that.
No.
You look at Brazilians and you think they'll do something well.
He just didn't.
How
No.
long was he at Arsenal?
Too
2
long.
years.
Yeah.
Too long.
years.
Two
years, too
years
long.
too many.
Yeah.
It's him without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay.
If you've not
Completely
got
in
down, I would
agreement.
question your knowledge of football.
That's exactly who we got down.
Thank you very
I
much.
believe we're going for, I'm just trying to figure out, I believe this is 4-4-2. So I think we're going to the right mid position. I'm going to say, I'll say who we picked first now. We went for Arshavin.
Ooh. That's mean. Because he's one of those.
Mean.
I mean, he wasn't great on the whole.
I'm not taking all the blame for this.
But
though.
he did it. He had some moments of glory. Obviously, everyone mentions the Anfield, etc. But he was one of those characters you always
Yes,
liked.
but this is where you've got it wrong. I'm going to agree with Arshavin for one reason. all of Arshavin's good stuff was before 2010.
That's a good point.
After 2010, Arshavin
What year was the
dreadful.
Liverpool then?
2008, 2009.
Yeah, of course.
So 2010 onwards, Arshavin was shocking. He put on so much weight, he couldn't run. He just like
Yeah.
bothered,
Yeah.
basically.
He only had one.
At least he could make an appearance, unlike one Wellington Silva, who was here for
Yes,
6 years
But
of
I
this
feel
decade.
that's quite harsh on Wellington Silva for not playing a game. How can you judge someone on being bad if they've not played a game?
Because he wasn't good enough to get a game.
Arshavin-
No, it was because of a
But
work permit.
it's what when you look at their performances. If you look at their performances, they're bad basically. I mean, it's hard.
Arshavin only had one good moment in this decade. Was that goal against Barcelona?
Also,
right.
he set up Henri's fine level Arsenal goal. So
That's
He did. Yeah.
Legend
Arshavin.
status confirmed.
Yeah, it was actually.
Arshavin doesn't
it was
make the
a
team.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
class.
the first one was
Wait, is this the
Sanya,
best
so
ever
then it was
Arsenal?
after was
yeah,
Arshavin.
of course.
So you've gone for Arshavin.
Is there any other right midfielders?
I'd maybe go Rio Miyachi
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
shout.
yeah.
because he was also meant
To
to
be
be
fair, he's made
the
our bench.
next
So.
top prospect, and he was dreadful.
Yeah.
Did he make your bench?
Yeah, he did make our bench. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's right.
I mean, at least he was quick, unlike Iwobi.
I wouldn't put Iwobi in there.
You leave
No.
Iwobi alone.
Yeah.
I'd possibly put Mkhitaryan's name forward,
Oh,
that's a good-
very good shout.
possibly, because he
He
came in
was
with so much promise, and we
awful.
said
No,
he's
very
going
swore.
to
I don't
link
think-
so well with Aubameyang, and it just didn't happen.
I don't think he came with promise. I think he came with, we finally managed to unload Sanchez. I don't think it was, we signed him for him. We went, we're just offloading
So
Sanchez.
you wouldn't put his name in there?
I'll put him as an honourable mention,
I'm gonna-
but I wouldn't put him in the first 11.
Can I make a pick where he should be in now? With the mic.
Go on.
He came with so much. Not being funny, United offloaded their dead weight. We offloaded. United just wanted to offload the dead weight off their wage bill. That's the only reason why they
And we,
sent
so
to us.
it's that same
No, I
thing
agree.
we
I
did.
feel like we won that transfer. Like,
Yeah.
To be fair-
Mkhitaryan was
How did we
garbage.
win?
but
I wouldn't say one. I mean, we came off marginally,
Well, to
slightly,
be fair,
not much
It was,
better.
it was,
I
it was
mean,
totally a war of
if you said to me
attrition.
we can have
We survived
Mkhitaryan
longer.
Who does nothing.
we
Or
only
we
won.
can pay Sanchez, what, 450k a week?
We only won financially. That's the
I'll
only.
take Mkhitaryan,
Yeah,
even
that-
if he does nothing.
He was still dreadful.
He's actually
He was
still
dreadful.
technically an Arsenal player, isn't he? He's on loan.
Yeah, he's
still an Arsenal player, as is David
He may
Luiz.
return. I mean,
Unfortunately.
at the start of this season, he was absolutely awful, wasn't he?
I mean, at the end of last season,
I think it was
he,
against.
he only performed against Southampton, if you remember last season.
Yeah.
He scored twice at St Mary's and he scored at the Emirates. But bar that, he did absolutely zilch.
So
It's a
I
real
mean,
shame though, because we had hope for him, but there was just nothing there.
No.
So would you put
So-
Mkhitaryan or Arshavin?
Honourable mention
I'd
on the
put
bench.
Arshavin.
I'd
Who's
argue
made your
Arshavin.
team?
Yeah, we went for Arshavin. So
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Mkhitaryan is on our bench, but we'll move on to the midfielders, defensive midfielders, attacking midfielders, whoever. We've gone for Suarez and Denilson.
Dennis Suarez is 100% in there.
I just feel so sorry
my
for
word.
him.
No, I don't feel sorry for
I
him.
don't know,
I
because
don't
he
feel
had
sorry
that
for him.
horrible
Not in the
injury. He didn't have the
slightest.
opportunity to play.
If he was good enough, he would have come back in when he was fit.
But he wasn't.
If
Yeah.
he was good enough, he would have come back in on a permanent transfer this summer. I've watched him play for Villarreal and Valencia. Not a good player.
Thing is, I actually forgot he was a player of ours until I saw him leave. I was like, oh yeah, I
To
forgot
play-
about you.
To play 60 something minutes.
Yeah,
Because not being
Thing
funny.
is,
shocking.
that's more of an insult than being bad.
yeah,
You can accept
It was-
someone being bad. If you forget they play for you,
yeah. He was
That's-
actually
that's
that
worse.
forgettable.
That's worse.
He has secured his place in the team.
I'm not being funny. If you went,
The other centre mid position.
if you went, when I went to my mum, we signed Luiz. She went, Luiz Suarez. I went, no, Dennis Suarez. I haven't even heard of him either.
This is
50 million
East End brother
£1.
Dennis. What about Kim Kallstrom?
Oh, good shout.
He's got to
agree
be. He's got to
with
be
that.
in there.
No,
I'd agree.
no,
Sign
no,
it.
no, 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 no,
I saw-
no.
I saw
I'm not
one-
having Kim Kallstrom.
Controversially, he's not even in our squad.
I'm
so.
not
I
having
saw
Kim
one-
Kallstrom
the
for
one
one
game-
reason, one simple and pure reason. He scored a vital penalty in the FA Cup
Yeah.
shootout against Wigan, I believe.
Yeah,
He came in with a broken back. Wasn't really his fault. I mean, he did break it playing beach soccer. Bit ridiculous, but I mean, Wenger decided to sign him regardless of that. I won't put him in there.
it was the most random signing, but I saw the one game and he did one Pete's cross and then was injured for the rest of it. And I was like, oh, that was a fun half
Okay,
hour. Well
so
done, Kim.
It
Hang on.
reflects badly on the staff. but
And also, I had to learn to pronounce his name because it's not Kim Kallstrom, it's Kim Yalstrom.
Right, so hang on. So are we all agreed on Dennis Suarez?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
I think so.
So
Denilson?
the other names I like to put forward, there's a couple. Denilson, as you mentioned, he showed so much promise, but he was actually dreadful. The second one is our Mari Bischoff, if you remember.
Oh,
Mari
Bischoff was dreadful.
Oh my word, he was.
I
bad.
forgot about him as well.
Which years was that then?
Far too many of them.
The early 2010s.
Yeah.
Wenger brought him in
Yeah.
from Armenia Bielefeld, if I remember correctly, and he was hailed.
Good
exactly.
knowledge.
That's not going to start well, is it?
Are we still
was-
doing the quiz?
I win. No, he was brought in as like this promising young player from Germany. We all thought he might do something, but he was so injury prone. But on that, he was absolutely shocking.
He didn't even make the he only made the bench that time Wenger played the youth team against Portsmouth that time.
Yeah.
He was honestly dreadful.
He was
But
pretty
I'd probably base purely on appearances and performance. I'd probably plump with Denilson.
I have to agree with Denilson.
Yeah,
Any other,
I
any
agree.
other outside names?
I'm happy with Denilson.
No, I'm happy with those two.
Happy with
For
Denilson?
once,
Denilson and
once in
Dennis-
my life, I'm happy with Denilson.
Denilson and Dennis Suarez are going to dominate any game you ever play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this team is not shaping up well.
Is that
so
who you
far.
went for?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to the left wing spot and the forehead.
Gervinho.
Big
100%.
Gervinho.
He was terrible, but I kind of liked him. There's something about.
In what way did you like him?
He was really good on FIFA.
I have to give him
I mean,
that.
that's why we signed Aubameyang, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just something about his plucky nature and his inability to actually be good at football. You're like, you're the story that
Plucky
could,
nature.
but obviously it didn't.
The thing
work.
with Gervinho is, he played in that same Lille team as Eden Hazard, and reportedly Arsene Wenger looked at Eden Hazard and went, "I'd rather have Gervinho."
Oh, I did not see it.
In what world would anybody rather have Gervinho? He got
Yeah.
sent off in his first game, couldn't hit a barn door with a machine gun. He was dreadful.
Although, did he go straight to Roma? Because I think he actually did quite well at
He
Roma.
went to Roma and then went to China, then went to Parma. So
Yeah.
basically, he's found his level.
And not
Yeah.
funny at China, he was their best player apparently.
I'd
Don't-
be the
Still,
don't-
he's
don't
still one of their
disagree.
best players in the
I'd
Serie A, to be
I'd
honest.
be the best player in China, Jake.
That's a challenge.
Harsh on Yaya Toure.
Lath.
I've mugged off Marwan Fellaini there.
Should we all
Harsh on
I
Oscar.
mean, we used to say you were the white Yaya Toure about 5 years ago, to be honest.
When I had potential, yeah. I could be in this Arsenal worst team of the day.
I-
When we all
So
have
if
potential,
you're,
to be honest.
so if you're going out to China then auditioning to see who can get into the Chinese league.
Basically, Gervinho's in there without a shadow of a doubt. If you picked anyone else,
No, that's
I'm
who we've
leaving.
gone for. But who do
Thank
you
you.
reckon? What other options for the left wing?
honestly,
Can you
I
think
can't.
of anybody
I've-
worse
There's
than
bad,
the forehead?
No, I can't.
but there's nothing worse.
KSI trolled him
The
hard.
fact he's known as the forehead says it all.
Yeah.
Like,
And
Poor bloke.
he just looked like a person who was this. You had to feel sorry for when you came on the pitch. You were hoping he did well, and he never achieved what you wanted.
I think I tweeted out once, Arsene Wenger when he saw Gervinho, "Oi, darling, you with the headband, you are different gravy."
Place secured.
and Gervinho has secured his spot in the starting 11.
Sorted. All right, we're going to move on to the strikers. I think we're going to have some fun with this one. We'll go 2 by 2. Serge boy.
I think Yaya Sanogo was by far and away the worst striker I've ever seen. He was an ungainly mountain goat. It was just absurd.
He was like a poor man's Kanu,
He
wasn't he?
was, but I mean, he was even mentioned in the quiz. 4 goals in pre-season, and not a single goal in the league. Not a single goal in the league. And yeah, he scored those goals in, there was
Emirates
a Community Shield in the
The
Emirates
Emirates
Cup.
Cup and
And it
against Dortmund. that
And it
it.
was just shocking. And he comes out and you think to yourself, we've not got anything here. He's just dreadful. And then
Who are you going for?
Shamak and Bendtner.
The gruesome twosome.
What's your reason for that? What's your reason behind Bendtner?
Bendtner was just useless. He came on all the time. The only relevance he made was when he got fined by UEFA for that pants advert.
the paddy foul thing. Although, have you seen his recent signing on video for when he went back to the Danish
it's,
Super League?
It's woeful.
And they showed the video and him doing striking practice.
Yeah.
Not a
put
single ball
every
went in
shot
the
on.
net. Every single shot missed.
You know you're helping Michaels.
Everyone-
Drunk.
It was
dreadful.
terrible.
You know you're
'Cause
helping Michaels now.
Because I remember a few of my friends met him on a night out when he was signed to Derby or whatever it was, in central
that.
in
I
central
want to hear
London.
this story in its full entirety.
They're in central London in a late night illicit bar, and
a gentleman's club.
it was a gentleman's club, and he was there at 4 o'clock in the morning buying
Amazing.
shots. My friend was rather ill, so he said, "I'll get a round of hot water and sea salt." Made him drink a pint of it so he could do a Toby, and then He was in the newspaper the next day for missing derby training, and he claimed that he had a broken down car.
That is the best story I've
Fantastic.
ever
I was
heard.
so pleased to put that up.
Serge, thank you for that.
Thank you very
Pleasure.
much. I personally have to agree with Shamak and Bendtner.
No.
Mainly for. Hold on, Dan. Wait your turn.
No.
Just for Shamak's haircut. I mean, phew, not ideal, is it?
He was even
So-
rubbish at Palace afterwards.
He was terrible.
It was rubbish everywhere.
True. So I'd agree with Shamak, but Sonogo has to be in there for me.
Yeah,
Because if your teammate is the most surprised person in the stadium that you've scored a goal, you are not a good striker. All right?
Was it Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain?
It was indeed
Yeah.
Alex Oxlade.
That was so funny. The best bit about Sonogo was when he tripped over the camera in the Emirates Cup. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Oh man, what a moment that was.
I mean, what a career highlight reel, to be honest.
Right.
Here we go. Here's Dan's.
Okay.
Here's Dan's.
So the term I'm going to go for, I'm not going to pick Bendtner purely on the basis I remember him scoring a decent amount of goals.
You could have
Okay.
stopped at I'd remember him scoring, and
No.
you'd have had a valid
No,
point. to
he
be honest.
scored in a North London derby, so immediately for me he's out.
Right.
Bendtner's not involved.
Do we agree on that?
I agree.
I'll
he's an
take
honourable
it.
mention.
I'll take it.
Sonogo, I mean, he was never going to cut it. It was awful. Okay?
Right.
For his funny highlights reel, as you mentioned, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's celebration and the Emirates Cup, he misses out pretty on hilarity value. The two I'm going to go for then are Shamak. For the first reason that Arsenal wanted to sign him for £14 million and they decided he wasn't good enough, so they waited till he was available on a free, and then he was awful as expected. So he's my first striker. Second one is Park Chu-young, because the only goal he ever scored for Arsenal in his 2 appearances was actually offside and should never have stood.
VAR.
In,
Why-
in the VAR
and
era.
VAR.
In the VAR era.
Basically, VAR has ruled out Park Chu-young's goal 7 years later. So basically, my strikers are Park and Shamak. And Shamak's haircut is also part of the reason.
Yeah. That's in the end. Me and Leif decided to compromise on that.
Can you
so,
imagine this team being managed by Unai Emery?
Well, who's your worst manager of the decade?
yeah.
Take your
Well done,
pick.
Strikers, the worst manager of the decade.
Who's on your bench?
Frimpong's got to be on there, surely.
Everyone's got to be on the bench.
Frimpong was shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So we've gone for on the bench: Sonogo, Bendtner, Miguel, Mkhitaryan.
Ignacy Miguel. Oh my
Yeah.
word.
I forgot about him.
He's a forgettable player.
He left my mind. He was also dreadful.
Big Mkhitaryan, Armand Traore. We haven't mentioned.
Oh, God, yeah,
A
Traore.
rival for Andre Santos.
Big Jenko, and then Miyachi.
Yeah. No,
I'm not sure I'd agree with Janko.
And I
No, I
think,
don't think
would,
Jenko.
would you have Emery or Freddie managing?
Emery.
Yeah.
Oi,
Big Unai.
you've done Freddie dirty. Definitely Emery.
If that's
Although, to be fair to Frimpong, he has the best excuse after getting sold I think I've ever heard. After leaving Arsenal, in an interview, he said, "How am I going to pick up girls now that I'm not playing in London?" So,
Oh,
I mean,
God.
Frimpong,
He's had a
what a
tour
man.
of Eastern Europe.
Well, do you not
basically.
remember
I
when he-
still
do
love
know
you,
what?
Emmanuel.
Genuinely, you have to check this, but I think he might have actually retired now.
Has he
Yeah.
actually?
Do you not remember when he was playing in Russia and he got a red card for the fans throwing bananas, making monkey noises? He gave them the middle finger and then he got the red card.
Oh, Yeah, I
Yes.
remember that. Yeah.
Outrageous.
We're just actually checking if Frimpong has retired. But I mean, in terms of other names, I'd go for.
Is there anyone else you'd add?
he has unfortunately retired.
I told you.
a great loss to the modern game.
It is.
Great loss to
Football
the
will
modern
never be
game.
the same.
Have you got any honourable mentions, Jake?
No.
It's hard, isn't it? Anyone from the current team other than Luiz?
I'll give you the
Socrates.
Granite Xhaka.
Granit
I
Xhaka.
mean, would you
Granit
pick-
Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka.
Do you know what? I've said this time and time again, purely because Serge likes to defend him for absolutely no reason. He has not had a single stand-up performance in an Arsenal shirt. He is woeful.
He gets it, the only time he made the headlines.
Joel
when he got-
Campbell?
I like Joel Campbell.
But
Joel
he's-
Campbell?
I feel like
I
that's
liked him.
Hey, Wenger underrated.
unfair.
Excellent
If we're
on
going
FIFA.
for
Excellent on
if we're
FIFA.
going for not enough appearances, makes it unfair.
Wenger
Then,
was unfair.
You know,
It-
Joel was shafted.
Joel
Do you reckon
Campbell.
Joel Campbell was properly shafted?
Yeah,
Not
I liked
properly.
him.
I liked him.
I
Wenger,
liked him a lot.
He had potential.
he had
He had
good
great
games.
shipped him
potential.
off.
He was having
it's
good games and
unfortunate.
Wenger used
He
to
couldn't
bench
get a
him.
work permit properly. Once again, it was another work permit problem.
What
It was
do you
a real
mean? He
shame.
had 3 years.
Yeah, when
3
he was
years
at-
where he had the work permit and could have played.
and he was on
I mean,
loan.
it's
He was
not
on
like
loan
he
at
giving himself
Olympiacos,
a
wasn't
work
he?
permit. Like there was a slight hurdle in the way, mate.
I mean, right. Read out that team in full because that may be the worst team
I
I've.
don't think we fully agree. So we went for Armenia. We all agreed on Liechtenstein.
Garbage.
Yeah,
And
both,
then we went for
yeah.
Squillaci and are we saying Luiz or Silvestre?
Silvestre.
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 Silvestre. And then Andre Santos.
Yes,
Yeah.
without a shadow of a
That's
doubt.
it. And then Arshavin. Who's the other option for
Miachi, but I'd definitely go
Do you
Arshavin.
think?
Yeah.
I'd 100%
Yeah,
go
yeah.
Arshavin.
And then Suarez and Denilson in midfield.
What a
Has-
midfield.
has to be,
What
has
a
to be,
pair that is.
Has to be. And then Gervinho.
Yes, the forehead.
The forehead. Of
The
all
forehead.
the foreheads, he is the forehead. And then
It's
we
not,
went
it's
for.
not just any forehead, he is the forehead.
I think it was a much tighter choice for the front two, Shamak and Park Ji-young.
Yep.
You could have had Bendtner in there, but
What was
Also
what
no
was
go.
his name? The fella that sat down in the centre circle of the pitch after
William Gallas. But
Gallas.
that was...
Gallas.
Oh, we forgot Gallas.
Serge, that was
That-
before
yeah.
2010, so your point is
Yeah.
not relevant.
And also-
Somehow we've named the starting 11 that would struggle to beat the current under 18.
well, I was going to say, would this team get relegated?
That team will get relegated with
It would.
0 points.
Would
I'm
it?
not even joking.
They would make
Right,
Derby look like
Best of the
champions.
Derby
Honestly,
team.
they'd make Derby look world class,
Yeah.
to be
Honestly,
honest.
you've got a team who probably never keep a clean sheet and would not score. You're getting
I
relegated.
wonder Arsenal's under 9s will probably get an 8-goal lead over them in the first 5 minutes.
Hey, do you remember Ben Schaefer in the under 2s?
That's,
Big up Ben Schaefer in the under 2s.
any subscribers that understand that reference, that's
Yeah,
a
you've
fair play
been
to
on
you.
the journey with us. You know about Ben
Absolutely.
Schaefer in the under 2s.
Well, let us know if you agree on that team. That's pretty dreadful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Please agree with me there.
Although-
so I'll pay anyone who
Although
agrees with
I've
me.
got
Sorry,
to say-
you picked Maitland-Niles for Fabianski. No one's agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Although if you
Maitland
do look
Niles.
at the Arsenal squad against Man City on Sunday,
The performance,
it's
definitely.
Sorry,
comparable.
hang on. Ben just turned to me and went, "You mean Maitland Miles?"
I don't know, funny, if we got the Arsenal men and women together at this moment, the women will probably put about 10 past them in the first half.
Oh, Medium, I would bang it.
Thanks very much for watching. Let us know in the comments, as I said, if you agree. And please leave a like on this video if you like the video. Cheers.
Thank you.
That 11 was awful.
Wow. Christ.
They could have 12.
And we didn't mention that story.
Oi, darling, you and the headband, you are different gravy.
You are different gravy.
You are different gravy.